Not so long ago, people in wheelchairs couldn't get on buses or use accessible bathrooms. Those with other handicaps couldn't turn doorknobs in public buildings. People with hearing problems couldn't enjoy the theater. Anyone with a disability would simply not have full access to everyday life. Following the passage of the Americans with Disabilities Act in 1990, much of that changed. The wide-ranging landmark legislation mandating access and accommodations was shaped and shepherded by a small federal advisory agency. These videos are made possible by the generous contributions of viewers like you. If you share our passion for preserving the rich history of our United States government, please consider making a donation to support our channel. Enjoy the video. The National Council on Disability, or NCD, was first formed as the National Council on the Handicapped in 1978. The NCD comprises 9 members, 5 appointed by the President and 4 appointed by Congress. Its purpose is to provide advice to the President, Congress, and federal agencies to help promote equality of opportunity for those with disabilities. The organization was created at a time when a potent disability rights movement was gaining momentum. Until the 1970s, the history of disability in America was difficult and often disturbing. The 1927 Supreme Court case Buck v. Bell put the issue of disability in shocking terms. The case concerned a Virginia woman officially labeled as feeble-minded and unfit to have more children. The Commonwealth of Virginia was seeking to sterilize her. The Supreme Court held that to be constitutional. The court found that the woman, Carrie Buck, was the potential parent of socially inadequate offspring, and it ruled in Virginia's favor. Just 5 months later, the Commonwealth subjected Ms. Buck to sterilization by tubal ligation. But attitudes toward the disabled gradually changed in following decades, spurred by the large number of returning World War II veterans with service-related disabilities. Later on, advocates for the disabled also took great inspiration from the civil rights movement. Even though the Civil Rights Act of 1964 made no mention of the disabled, advocates organized to eliminate segregation of those with disabilities. The first federal law to require physical access for the disabled was the Architectural Barriers Act, passed in 1968. The law stated that buildings financed by federal funds and open to the public had to be made accessible to the handicapped. The disability rights movement successfully pushed for the 1973 Rehabilitation Act, which changed federal disability policy. Under Section 504, access for people with disabilities was ruled to be a civil right. In the early 1980s, a member of the NDC, Justin Dart, started the ball rolling toward enactment of comprehensive legislation for the disabled. Dart, a longtime activist and lobbyist for the disabled, was a familiar advocate on Capitol Hill. Having lost the use of his legs from polio at the age of 18, he attended congressional hearings in his wheelchair, wearing a trademark cowboy hat. Using his own money, Dart held meetings around the country and collected testimony from the disabled. The vivid stories he collected prompted the NCD to draft an early version of the ADA in 1987. All through 1988, a coalition worked to promote the passage of the ADA. The bill passed the Senate in September 1989, but hit obstacles in the House of Representatives. Disability activists protested congressional inaction with what became known as the Capitol Crawl. On March 12, 1990, about 1,000 disability activists gathered in Washington, D.C. to urge the passage of the ADA. Protesters outside the U.S. Capitol left their wheelchairs and literally crawled up the steps to dramatize the obstacles they faced every day. The following day, more than 100 protesters in wheelchairs were arrested in the Capitol Rotunda. Chanting, "Access is a civil right," some had chained their wheelchairs together. These heroes were essential to enactment of the ADA, just as essential as Justin Dart, who was credited with being its founding parent. The ADA passed both houses of Congress, and President George Bush signed it on May 26, 1990. A huge bill signing ceremony was held on the White House lawn, attended by nearly 3,000 people, many in wheelchairs. At the ceremony, President Bush said, Every man, woman, and child with a disability can now pass through once closed doors into a bright new era of equality, independence, and freedom. This video was brought to you by the Public Education Project, an independent nonprofit group dedicated to improving public knowledge of the government by sharing the rich history and exciting stories of the federal agencies that serve our nation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe now to start your journey into the fascinating history of the U.S. government today. If you'd like to delve deeper into the rich history of the National Council on Disability or any other federal agency, be sure to visit our Agency Histories page at publiceducationproject.org, featuring nearly 250 detailed pages showcasing the diverse stories of agencies dating back to the nation's founding. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok so you don't miss out on new videos and updates.